Key Bridge was the third longest continuous truss bridge in the world. The second longest truss bridge is right here in the Pacific Northwest. It is the Astoria-Megler Bridge. Its engineering is very similar to the Key Bridge. Fox 12's Connor McCarthy is live in Astoria tonight, and we talked to ODOT there about that bridge and others around the state. Connor, what can you tell us?
Well, Anna, here behind me is the Astoria-Megler Bridge, and like you said, it's the second longest continuous truss bridge in the world, and it's also the longest in the United States. But let's go up to the sky at Air 12 so you can get a better look at this bridge. If you've driven across this, you know how tall this is. Now, this steel portion that you're looking at is the truss portion, and ODOT says that the engineering behind this is simple, efficient, and allows bridges like this one to be built tall in an efficient way. Now, ODOT says that the odds of a container ship hitting a bridge like this one or any other bridges here in the state of Oregon along one of our rivers is extremely low. A tragedy thousands of miles away, but felt here at home.
Whenever we hear about something as disastrous as a bridge being completely collapsed, not to mention the tragic loss of lives that I think are involved. So we're very distressed.
The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore has many Oregonians looking at our own bridges across the state. Some of the most critically important bridges are managed and maintained by the Oregon Department of Transportation.
We and I'm sure every bridge authority around the world, every port, every shipping company is paying attention to this and waiting to learn how it happened.
David House with the Oregon Department of Transportation says a handful of bridges are engineered similar to the Key Bridge, including the Astoria-Megler Bridge. In fact, the bridge is the second longest continuous truss bridge in the world. The third longest is the Key Bridge in Baltimore.
A long span like this that needs to be very high to allow large ships to pass underneath. This is one solution that involves piers through the water and then a high structure made with steel trusses. Yeah, this is an ideal solution to cross traffic over such a long span.
House says this design is very common around the country, including here in Oregon. He says the Astoria-Megler Bridge sees cargo ships pass under it, but nothing comparable to the size of the one that took down the bridge in Baltimore. But he says there are systems in place to prevent collisions.
Of course, there is lighting on the bridge 24/7 to make sure that it's visible to shipping. And of course, they're aware of it. And at Astoria, to cross the Columbia River Bar, there are professional pilots to help ships navigate through.
He also says 4 bridges in Oregon see cargo traffic pass under them. Some of those are in Portland. Multnomah County Division Director John Henriksen says that none of the county bridges have similar construction to the Key Bridge. In a statement, he wrote, quote, "In the event that a county bridge is significantly damaged, traffic is moved off the bridge as soon as possible. The county has disaster response plans that mobilize all bridge staff and engineers to inspect and evaluate the safety of the bridge before it can be repaired and safely reopened to the public." House says what ODOT is worried about is keeping their bridges maintained. That could be anything from repairing wear and tear to the steel itself or filling potholes on the roads, something crews were doing on the Key Bridge just before it collapsed early Tuesday morning.
Knowing how much constant care bridges require so we can keep them in good condition and make them last as long as possible.
Now, Multnomah County says that the newest bridges along the Willamette River, like the Selwood Bridge and the future Burnside Bridge, are designed in a way that will not collapse after an impact of the largest vessel that's allowed to operate on the Willamette River. Now, when it comes to maintenance, ODOT says that since there's so much, to assume that there are always crews working on these bridges and to slow down when you're crossing. But for now, reporting live in Astoria, Connor McCarthy, Fox 12 Oregon.